The goal of this video is not to make you a millionaire. There are already enough online gurus teaching you that. Go watch some of their YouTube videos. But if you want to create a life with more freedom and actually create the freedom to enjoy your life, make enough money to have that freedom, then keep watching this video. Because in this video, I'm going to teach you the laziest way to make money in 2025. Now, laziness is something that's frowned upon. A lot of people think being lazy is bad. And laziness is bad if you don't pair it with ambition. Pairing laziness with ambition is actually the most valuable skill and is actually, in my opinion, a required skill to become a successful business owner. Let's have a look at the screen. I made some notes where I'm going to teach you exactly how I achieved a lazy way to make money. Let's have a look. Laziness alone is bad. I told you that because laziness just means you don't want to do anything. But if you pair laziness with ambition, you actually hit a sweet spot of business skill. What's ambition? Ambition is wanting to achieve a clear goal. Now, if you pair laziness with ambition, you create the most efficient way to achieve a goal. And that's actually one of the mistakes I made while building my online business, was that I wasn't lazy enough. Let me show you exactly what I mean with that. As I said, laziness is a required skill to become a successful business owner. Because what is a business? A business is actually just a group of people working towards the same goal. And very often, and that's at least what happened for me, we have our ego that is preventing us from building this group of people that works towards the same goal. Because we believe that we have to be the hardest working person in the room. We always have to do everything ourselves. And actually that is what is sabotaging us. It's a self-sabotage mechanism. We think we cannot be lazy, and delegating work is a form of laziness. And that's actually a thing that prevented me from growing a lot. Because what is a good business owner? Well, actually, being a good business owner, somebody who's good at buying back his or her time systematically in a profitable way. You should read that again. A good business owner is someone who can systematically buy back his time in a profitable way. That's exactly what being a business owner is. It's just step by step doing something valuable, doing the highest valuable thing you can do, and then finding someone else to do it so you can jump to the next highest valuable thing you can do. And that's actually what a business owner has to do systematically all the time. You figure out what is the highest valuable thing I can do. You do it so that you become good enough at it so you can teach it to other people, or you at least know what is required in that role. And then you start doing the next most valuable thing you can do. And these jumps, it's like jump from step to step to step, and it's like climbing a ladder, and every time you become a better business owner. Now, where does it go wrong? I always refer back to this cash flow quadrant because this really changed my life. It's from Robert Kiyosaki. You should read that book. It's the same author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and this is like one of his side books where he goes really deep into that cash flow quadrant, and I really love it. Let's start here again. You have these 4 levels: employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. Now, of course, employee is the lowest level you can have, not to be shitting on employees at all, but it's the least risk and the least freedom. You just have a job, and you have to be extremely good and lucky to make a lot of money as an employee. You can become very rich by making money by being an employee, but actually, like I said in the beginning of this video is about creating freedom. And the more you move up in this path, well, the more you follow this path, the more freedom you will have. This is the ultimate amount of freedom. This is the worst amount of freedom. Okay, so we have to get there if you want freedom. Now, the first step we almost always have to make is becoming self-employed. And this step just requires you to take risk. It just requires cojones, balls. It's not really a skill issue. It's just you have to start doing stuff for your own. But then a lot of people, they get stuck here because they think, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner. No, you don't own a business, you own a job. To own a business, you need to own a system that works for you. This inherently requires you being a little bit lazy, because you should say, I'm not going to do the work. I figure out a system and let other people, most of the time other people, do the work, but also programs, specifically now with AI, other systems. AI can become a system that does the work for you. Code can become a system that does the work for you. Media can become a system that does the work for you. For example, you have a YouTube channel, or you have an ebook. You write it once and the ebook sells, and you eventually keep making money from it. You own a system. But most of the time, this involves some type of team that works for you. Now, to get from here to there, it's most of the time, it's a skill issue, because you need to learn the art of delegation. But that skill issue could also be related to your ego that prevents you from delegating. And that's what I was having. It took me a very long time to make this jump. And that was because my ego thought that I had to do all the work because I'm the best. That's what I always thought. And I'll show you exactly how I was able to eventually make this jump. Now I'm working on this jump. I'm a business owner. I have a business that works autonomously, does not really require my time to stay profitable. I'm making the jump to become an investor where money works for me, and I don't even will need the business anymore. I will just have my capital working for me. I will not need it, but of course I will still want to have my business because I love having my business and I love to keep it growing and nourishing it and making it grow even. Now, how did I learn this? And that's actually a funny story. So I was stuck in a gym. At one point in my life, I will save you my life story, that's in other videos, but at one point in my life, I was a gym owner because I thought that would make me happy. And it did make me happy until I found out that my business partners were not as committed as I was. I was the one doing all the work, and that wasn't the problem until I found out, until I got frustrated by the fact that we were all making the same amount of money. We were three of us. I was doing all the work, and the two others were like working almost no hours in the gym, and they made the same amount of money as I did. Now, those two business partners, they were very good friends, so it was very hard for me to complain and get us to change the amount I was paid and change their amount that they were paid. So not a good advice. Never start a business with three people where two of them are best friends and you're the third wheel, so to say, okay? So that was a mistake I made. It actually was a blessing in disguise because at one point I was so frustrated with it that I figured out like, okay, if I'm doing all the work and I'm making just as much money as they are, I cannot increase my wage, I cannot increase the money I'm making. Well, I can only decrease the amount of time I'm putting in the work. So that's where I was. My only option was to let other people do the work so that I could increase the money I was making per hour working, if you understand. I could not make more money. I could only lower my input. I cannot increase my output. So I started lowering my input, my amount of work that I was putting in the company. And that actually taught me the skill of delegation by accident. And that made me really good at delegating. I also figured out what was the most profitable way of running a business because I had time for the thing that I liked. And the thing that I liked was marketing, which was the highest valuable skill that we could do in a gym. Because a gym is most of the time, it's actually, if you boil it down, it's a sales and marketing business. So that's what I did. The gym became even more successful because I started, first of all, I got off the floor. I used to give group classes and personal training around 20 to 30 hours a week, which is quite a lot. So I hired trainers. I said like, just let's get trainers. And I was just doing sales and marketing because I love to become better at sales and I love to become better at marketing. And that was actually the revenue of the gym grew because now I had time to put in a more valuable skill, sales and marketing. And at one point I was so good at sales that I could teach others so I could have more time for the marketing. So I built a sales team and I did like one meeting a week with the sales team. I taught them how to sell. They shadowed me a couple of weeks. And at that point I unlocked an enormous freedom because there was money being made while I was sitting at home focusing on the marketing. And I became better and better at marketing so that the sales team got more and more work. We eventually had a sales team of 3 people working full-time in the gym while I was just sitting behind my laptop and just generating great marketing campaign. And that actually was the most highest valuable composition of our team that could exist. But I would never figure it out if I would just be still training people on the floor, you know? So it was a blessing in disguise. And that's when I figured out like, okay, I need to delegate because it's even better for my business if I delegate things and if I build a team so I can focus on more high valuable stuff. So actually there was some type of laziness involved because it started from me wanting to lower my input, and that was actually me being lazy. Like, I don't want to work it hard anymore, I'm just going to make the same amount of money, but I'm going to lower my input. And actually I increased the output of the business. So that was like a blessing in disguise. And I'm so happy that I had these awful business partners that were not as committed as me. So at one point I figured out that I wanted to start a marketing agency. So fast forward, I sold the gym eventually, started a marketing agency because I really loved that. And I made 10K a month quite quickly, like after 5 months, while being lazy. Because I was like, I'm gonna enjoy life now. I have location freedom, I'm making much more money than before, and I was traveling a lot. Then I was going to become a father, so I said, oh no, now I'm not going to travel a lot and I'm not going to be lazy. I want to make more money, so I have more money in the bank to take more time off when our son would be there. So actually I reached 30K a month, which was my record month, with 98% profit margin because I was doing everything myself. But actually I've sacrificed my freedom while freedom was the goal. I started a marketing agency because I wanted more freedom. So I sacrificed freedom to reach a monetary goal. And I was like, what's the point? Why am I doing this? This is not why I started a marketing agency. I started because I want more freedom, and now I sacrifice freedom for money. So that's not correct. So then I relearned the lesson that I learned in the gym. And often we have to relearn the same lesson a couple of times. So what did I do? I stopped doing everything myself and I built a team. And it was actually quite funny because once I started building a team, I figured out that it was so stupid that I was doing everything. I should have been more lazy. Really, I was doing customer support, 2-3 hours a day customer support. And it's not only the 2-3 hours a day that you're answering like WhatsApp messages from clients, but it's also the effect it has on your productivity. I was like checking WhatsApp all the time, being interrupted in my deep work. So that was so stupid that I was doing customer support. Then finance. I had to like every day look at billing, and when an invoice was due, I had to make the invoices, which was again a stupid small task that took me a lot of time. But now I had a team member focused on finance that would only do this, put more time in it so that the cash flow planning was even better. Customer support team member who was doing the customer support all the time, much better than I was doing, because I was doing a shitty job because I was combining it with all the other stuff. Then I had someone else help me with the marketing because I was so good at marketing I could easily teach someone else the strategy of how I do it, and I wouldn't even have to put hours in creating a campaign. I could just say, this is a strategy, please follow it. And I was also stuck in a lot of calls, and I was coaching people on calls because it's a marketing agency and consulting agency because we help gym owners build a more profitable gym. I figured out that one of my clients was a very good coach. I hired him and he would do all the calls. From the moment I built the team, I was making this type of money with lower profit margins, like 60-70%, but I had so much time, and now the business can survive without me. I can go on a holiday for a month, which I sometimes do, and we just keep growing. And that's when I relearned the lesson of you have to delegate, you have to build a team, you have to be a little bit of lazy and want to lower your input to increase the output of the business and focus on the most highest valuable thing you can do, which is now totally different because I have found people that do this job better than I was doing when I was doing it all together. Now I can focus my time on a really valuable skill, which is the strategy of the business, the decision making, the direction we're going. So that's really, really cool that I relearned that lesson. And I found out that being lazy is often the best way to do it. Some closing thoughts. I think that SMMA, social media marketing agencies, are the best way to build money while being lazy. Why? Because SMMA is actually quite hard to learn in the beginning. And because it's hard, a lot of people don't learn it. But it's so valuable. So once you get through that one hard part of learning what SMA is all about and strategies, you become very valuable to other businesses because you have to remember that you're not being paid for the amount of work you put in, but for the value you're able to bring to businesses. And with SMA, the value is very tangible. It's like very clear to see the value of a good marketing campaign because it's just a result. Like you as a SMMA owner, you get other businesses clients. If you get them many clients, you do a good job. If you get them few clients, you do a bad job. So it's very easy to see the value of your work. And that's why it's the best way to make money in a lazy way. Because with just that skill that you have to learn, that takes some time, but after you learn it, you can create a marketing campaign in less than an hour. You can provide tremendous value for a business. I can create a campaign for a gym, well, in less than an hour, and even now I don't even create it anymore. I have learned my team member to create it, and that campaign can generate 15 to 20 clients, which could be like over 10,000 euro for that gym a month. So that's insane just by learning that skill. And that's, I think, only possible with SMMA because other business models don't allow you to be that lazy, in my opinion. So that's what I believe. That's why I believe SMMA is the best business model to make money while being lazy in 2025. If you want to learn more about this, there is a free SMMA course in our school community where I teach you exactly what I have done and how I started, how I escaped my gym being stuck in one location, how I build a life with more freedom. If you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. My goal is to, like I said, help you design a life where you get more freedom and time to enjoy with your family, with your friends, discover the world, because the world is a beautiful place and it's not all about just working and becoming a millionaire or a billionaire. If you like those videos, go watch Alex Hormozy. But if you just want to enjoy life and build freedom, then I think I can teach you a thing or two. All right, see you in the next one.